Today, I'm going to be taking a rum that I think is a bit meh to sort of drink neat, and I'm going to be turning that into something absolutely amazing that has me scrambling back for more. Welcome back, rum fans. I'm Steve the Barman, and I'm here to help you on your rum journey by mainly focusing on rums under 50 quid. But sometimes we do spend a little bit more. Sometimes we get a little bit more extravagant. So today, what do you do if you've bought a rum that you just don't enjoy? Now, I've seen evidence of this in Discord, in communities, in the DMs. You know, one of the big thing that a lot of people are going to do with it is simply mix it, simply add Coke. And I think that's a bit of a waste. I really do. The other thing a lot of people do is kind of like cocktails, and into cocktails. The rum fashioned is a big one as well, where people will add sort of sugar and bitters to it. And I know some of you will even add spices to it, or fruit to make your own spiced rum or fruity rum. And to be honest, they are not bad options if it's a cheaper rum. If it's like a 25, a £30 rum. And I know that's still expensive for a lot of you, but they're not bad options. But when you've got a slightly more expensive rum, if £35 is expensive to you, if 40, £50 is expensive to you, you don't really want to be using that in cocktails. But also, the same token, you don't want that gathering dust on the back of the bar. So what can you do? Well, a simple option is just to make a blend, your own rum blend. Let's face it, these are nothing new. I've got plenty of blends that you can buy as standard behind me. Black Top is a blend from different rums. I mean, let's forget, for the newbies that are getting really confused, most of these rums behind me are a blend from one distillery of different, like pot and column stills, different age rums, blah, blah, blah. But I'm talking about blends, multi-island, multi-country blends, okay, different rums going into it. So Black Top is what I call a blend. We've got the Plantation, Guatemala and Belize. We've got two different rums going into that. We've got Equiano, which is a blend. We've got the Signatures, which is a blend. We've got Lost Years, I won't get them out. With the I forgot what it's called now. The Lovers and the, sorry, this is Lost Years, but we've got the Lovers and the Forza rum behind me. We've got Lost Years. These are all blends. When we think about it, you know, the Mai Tai. Bartenders have been doing this for decades. You know, think of cocktails like the Mai Tai. The Mai Tai for some bars is a 4-rum blend. And if they're a busy bar, they haven't got time to stand there and do 15 ml of 4 rums. They will just blend their rum up. Now, to a lot of people, this will just be simply adding about 15 ml of that, 15 ml of that. Jobs are good, and does it taste good? But there's something fun about the whole process of really creating a lovely blend if you really break it down. And that's what I'm going to do today. Now, this might shock a few people. It might be obvious to a few people that have watched some recent videos, but the rum I'm actually going to do it today with is Brugal 1888. It's far from horrible. So a lot of people, they absolutely love it. It just doesn't really kind of tickle my pickle. It's not there. It's not the rum that I'm just going to go for to have a little glug like I have done that. It's just something, it's just, I've got, this is basically, it's Dominican Republic. It's kind of loosely sort of sherry aged as well. It's a little bit sweet. I don't mind that because I love my Ron Coupe. It just leaves me wanting a little bit more from it. And just tasting it. I think the one thing that would instantly fix this for me personally is actually just a higher ABV. It's 40% ABV. And I just think it needs something a little bit extra thrown into it just to really sort of complement the flavours. For me, it's got lovely flavours, but they just fall a bit flat. So I kind of want to amplify the flavours a little bit just to kind of bring this rum up more to my palate. Now, there are loads of ways that you can do this, but I have got my own method, and it's something I've used a little bit, not too often, because in previous scenarios, if I had a rum I didn't like, I would just use it in cocktails. If I was running a bar, it would just get used in the cocktail of the month or something like that. But what I try and take from it is kind of look for me what it has too much of and add in what it doesn't have enough of. So for me, for this Brugal 1888, I think it actually has, and I like fruity stuff, but I think it actually has too much fruity stuff and not enough spice or bite in it. It needs something a little bit extra, a little bit more kind of vicious, if you like. something I don't particularly like in a rum, but it just needs that little bit of kind of feistiness just to kind of level it off for me. And of course, the opposite is true. If you've got a rum that is, I don't know, let's take Havana 7-year-old, for me personally, quite woody, quite oaky, hasn't really got the sort of fruitiness that I want from it, I would then, to Havana 7, I would add something, a little bit of fruit forward to it, just to kind of round that off and get rid of those sort of woody tannins that I don't really like from Havana 7. And the other thing, which is kind of applicable to this as well, if I find the rum too rich, then I will try and lighten it up. So if I've got like a really a heavy Guyana, Demerara or Barbados or something like that, maybe even a Jamaican, that's a really chewy, if you like, a chewy rum. If I've got something like that, then, because I do love my Spanish style of rums, they are kind of lighter, or column still rums I should say, then I would potentially add a little bit of column to a pot still just to kind of lighten it out. So if we're going to do this properly, there's a couple of things that you kind of want, you kind of need. I've had these around for ages, it's something I use. I've got syringes, I've got a little one here that's super accurate down to like the mil. So I've got, you know, this only really goes up to 5 mil in there, but it's super, super accurate. Whereas this is sort of larger quantities. I can get a mil of liquid in there, but this is easier that. Or I've got like, off an old bitters bottle, I've got like a pipette that I could do that. So you need equipment like that just to kind of be super accurate. And you also need a notepad as well, because the amount of times I've done this and not written down what I've actually done, the measurements I've done, when I've created something amazing, I'm like, oh my God, and completely forgot how I made it. I've kind of cursed myself afterwards. So when you find something, write down each step so you've got a note of what you want. Today's video is brought to you in association with Stratford sodas. I absolutely love these. They're rum mixers, dedicated mixers for rum. One of the only brands in the UK to do this. Low in carbonation, low in sugar. And today I'm going to showcase the versatility of these, because I love, or did used to love, like a dark and stormy with ginger beer. But as I keep saying time and time again, ginger beer makes me blurb, it makes me get too much gas. And these, because of the low carbonation, are perfectly. But what I've done, because these are low in sugar, what I've actually done is made a cool little riff today. So today I've used a white rum, I've used a little bit of Monins Falernum syrup, and I've topped it up with the spiced, which is cinnamon forward, with ginger coming up behind there and a bit of Angostura bitters on top. So you can make really cool, easy, long cocktails. There's 4 in the range at the precise moment. We've got the tropical, pineapple, coconut, the citrus, long daiquiri, the spiced, as I've just mentioned, and the hedgerow, which is blackberry and rose. If you want to try these, if you're in the UK and you want to try these, get 50% off your very first order. The taster pack, the party pack, is a link in the description that will auto-populate at checkout. I promise you, if you try them, you'll love them. Now, it's important to stress here, don't do as I do, you do you. I'm going to do what I kind of associate with my own palate from rums behind me, but you might have different tasting notes for you, so you do new. But what I want to do from this straight away is add something a little bit more with woody undertones to it. And there's a couple of rums that I could have gone down. There was the obvious one that I was thinking in my head, but I'm actually going to go for something different because I don't give it that much love on this channel. And I used to love it, absolutely flipping love it. Is there? So what I've done first off, I've got 10 mil of the Brugal 1888 in that glass. So remember to have, that's your control. So that's just Brugal. So I've got 10 mil in there. So the first, what I'm actually going to do is a little bit of English Harbour. For me, it's a lovely, delicious rum, but it is probably too woody, too oaky for what I actually now love. So I'm going to pour a little bit in a glass here, just so it's easier to get out. So what I'm going to kind of do, so bearing in mind I've got 10 mil in there, and I want that to be the base. I don't want it to be drowned, I want it to be the base, so I'm not wasting loads of other rums with this. So to this, I like to work in like 2 mils. If you want to work in 5 mils, you do 5 mils. But to that, I'm going to add, hang on, let's do that. I'm going to add, there we go. I'm going to add 2 mil to the first one. And then I'm going to add 4 mil to the second one. All right, there we go. So double up. So there we go. We've got that. So we've got a little bit of English Harbour in there. So this is the first one up. I've got Brugal with literally 10 mil of Brugal to 2 mil of the English Harbour. And already that's added a nice woody bite with there. You still get the fruit, but you've got this little bit of wood, sort of the chewiness around your gums that just comes in that I didn't really get from that straight away, just off 2 mil, 10 mil to 2 mil. So what do we get with 4 mil, with double? Is it too much? That's really interesting, because now with 4 mil, that is too much, and I don't like that. That is really starting to sing with me, just even at those levels. So 10 mil of Brugal to 2 mil of English Harbour. Now, after you've done that, you could just sit there. I'll be quite honest, that's quite tasty. If you're thinking, hang on, 2 mil's not that much, you know, that's not going to change it too much. Think about it as a 25 mil shot. You know, I've done 10 mil of Brugal to 2 mil of that. So if you're thinking, if you did that as a 25 mil of Brugal, you would effectively have 5 mil of your English Harbour in there, which is going to add quite a bit to your drink. If you doubled that up to a 50 mil, you know, you're going to have 10 mil, which of course is going to come in. So even a 2 mil in a 10 mil is really, really going to come through. Now, is that rum the finished article? I'll be quite honest, I'm quite happy sipping that. I really, really am. But I kind of do want to test to see whether I could go in another direction with it. It is a little bit sort of on the bold side, but I don't think it needs any column still to kind of lighten it up. I'm quite happy with that sort of aspect of the rum. I'm quite happy with those sort of wood vibes coming off now. The only thing I might want now is a bit of sort of spice and a bit of luxuriousness, if that's the right word. Okay, so the rum I'm actually thinking of for this is the Hechicera. Now there was a few others I could have gone here as well. You know, I could have gone the Cubé, 11-year-old in this. Actually looking around, I could, if I wanted to. I was actually thinking this, and I might do this as a cheeky little quick one. I was actually thinking about adding like a little bit of chocolate note to it, because I know that rum does really go well with when you're eating dark chocolate. So that actually could be a potential if we don't see how this works. So what I've done the English Harbours in there. So we've already got 10 mil and the 2 mil. So I'm going to do the Hechicera again. Exactly the same as what I've just done. So I'm going to add, and remember to cleanse your palate as well. So sparkling water, soda water, have a little sip of that, really resets your palate. So I'm going to do 2 mil of the Hechicera in here. And I'm going to do 4 mil of Hechicera in the next one. There we go. Bit too much. So 2 mil and 4 mil again. So now how does that kind of affect? Again, this is a rum I don't give a lot of love to, but I actually quite like it, to be fair. So this is 10 mil of 1888, 2 mil of English Harbour, and now 2 mil of the Hechicera. Interesting, really interesting nose on it now. Completely different nose, completely. Sherry notes really dialed back, and you've got more woody and vanilla coming off of those. Right. Now I prefer that with the 4 mil of the Hechicera. That is stunning now. I really, really like that. I am just going to take it one step further. So now what I've done for the final little test, because the rums I've added so far have all been 40% ABV. The English Harbour is definitely 40% ABV. The Hechicera is 40% ABV. So we've added a little bit of wood. We've added a little bit of sort of spice and a little bit of extra luxuriousness. This, the Compañero, this is, I call it the chocolate rum, but it's also 54.5%. So I'm kind of thinking, off those fruit notes, I'm kind of thinking that I would actually add to one a little bit of chocolatey vibes with a little bit of ABV kick. So what I've done 1 mil. So we've got 10 mil, 2 mil, and 4 mil. So 10, 2, 4. And I've just added 1 mil of that and 2 mil in that one, just to see how this rounds off. And that one, hands down, all day long, is a stunning, oh my God, that is so, so good. Just 2 mil in there. So 10 mil to 2 mil to 4 mil to 2 mil of the Compañero. And I've just taken that blend of that, or that Brugal 1888 to something that I probably wouldn't have too often neat. It's light years, absolutely light years away from that. Oh my God, that is stunning. So what I want you guys to do in the comments below is I want you to have a little play, and especially those of you in my Discord as well. I want you to have a little play with a rum that you don't particularly like. And I want you to kind of have a little play and create your own little blends and either put them in Discord, but more hopefully put them in the comments below down here. Because I'm really fascinated by this. Just look at it from all different aspects. Do you want more vanilla? Do you want more fruit? Do you want more wood aging? Do you want more roundedness? Like, do you want a higher ABV? Do you want a lower ABV? Do you want something rich and deep like a Guyana? Do you want something lighter like a column still? Just kind of pick out your perfect rum from this. For me, hands down, that is a stunning new blend, and I would quite happily sip that neat, but I'm actually thinking, what cocktails would I use that in? Because that is amazing. Now, if you want another video to help you on your rum tasting journey, dive into that video right there.